Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 28th episode of the Indian Journal of Anaesthesia podcast. We are starting a special series from this month, and the episode is called From the Editor's Desk. Now, you might be wondering what this is all about. It is about introducing the entire journal issue to all of you from the man himself, the editor-in-chief of the Indian Journal of Anaesthesia, Dr. Rakesh Garg. He will highlight the key aspects of the issue, and we will start with this episode, that is the December issue of Indian Journal of Anaesthesia. Over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Thank you, Dr. Murli, and thank you for this initiative. Indian Journal of Anaesthesia is pleased to declare or announce the contents of December 2014 issue of IJA. This issue is special because this is the last issue of 24 and will be coming to something special in 25. But nevertheless, topics are very interesting, very informative, and I'm sure that they will help us to improve our patient outcome so that the quality of care, the patient satisfaction, and other aspects is further improving from these articles. We have many randomized controlled trials, observational studies, and an interesting study based on the modeling of various pharmacokinetics agents that we use. The first study that we have is the efficacy of local anesthetic perifemoral artery injections compared to subcutaneous infiltration in combination with femoral and sciatic nerve blocks for reducing thigh tourniquet-induced hypertension during lower limb surgery under general anesthesia. It's a randomized controlled double-blind trial, and this interesting study has taken into consideration the effect of block on tourniquet-induced hypertension. And they have found that both the anesthetic techniques being described in this paper, they are good to control this hypertension, which is clinically useful. Another study, a regional block, the pericapsular nerve block versus suprainguinal fascia iliaca block for functional outcome in patients undergoing hip surgeries, a randomized controlled trial. An interesting study wherein we are just not looking for the pain outcomes, but what we really want from the patient perspective is the functional outcome. And this study, this RCT has highlighted, and they have concluded that the PANG block demonstrated superior functional outcomes, including earlier ambulation and weight bearing, which is an important aspect for hip surgeries as compared to SIFI block in patients, adult patients undergoing hip surgeries. Another important study is when we talk about the airways and we talk about supraglottic airway devices. Another randomized controlled trial, comparison of fiber optic guided tracheal intubation through LMA protector and IGEL in adult paralyzed patient. And this study remains important when various guidelines are coming from professional bodies with regards to the airway management, where they are propagating that fiber optic guided tracheal intubation through SEDs is important and not the blind intubation. And this authors of this study, they have compared two devices, LMA protector and IGEL, and they reported that both the devices were comparable in terms of tracheal intubation time, success rate, and the adverse events with regards to the tracheal intubation using fiber optic through these SADs. Another important studies for the thyroid surgeries patient, the effect of intracuff and intravenous lignocaine on recovery from anesthesia after thyroid surgery. A single center randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial, the IOLENT study. Again, interesting because when we do a thyroid surgery, there is always an issue with regards to the patient recovery because the oral surgery, the oral outcomes, the vocal cord implications are great. And these authors have compared the effect of intracuff versus intravenous lignocaine, including a placebo group. And they have compared that the recovery profile is a shade better when the intravenous or topical lignocaine is used, and the recovery from after the surgery is much better in these patients. And they have used the intraoperative neural monitoring also. So that gives a very good outlook for our clinical management, I think we need to change our practice and it needs to come in the guideline also. Another important study coming from patients in the ICU, mechanically ventilated patients, and observational study, wherein authors titled it as Relationship of Lung Ultrasound Score with Oxygenation and Pulmonary Mechanics in Mechanically Ventilated Patients and Observational Study. And the authors concluded that the correlation between the lung ultrasound scores and the oxygenation, that is, they have measured using PaO2 by FiO2 ratio, the lung compliance and the lung resistance, and they have found that a good relationship exists between these parameters. Now, when we talk about the inclusion of ultrasound as a point of care into the operating room, does it useful for confirmation of endotracheal intubation? And here's another study in IJA, the prospective observational study, 5-point airway ultrasound protocol for confirmation of endotracheal intubation and position in pediatric patients undergoing surgery. And they have put up a nice protocol of 5 AIR. And I'm sure that this protocol will be very useful in pediatric patients who are usually concerned with the correct position of the endotracheal tube. Another retrospective study related to airway, the transnasal humidified rapid insufflation ventilator exchange, that is THRIVE, a game changer in apneic anesthesia for shared airway procedures. Now, when you're moving towards the tubeless surgeries and various airway surgeries, the THRIVE becomes an important aspect. And here the authors have shared the retrospective experiences of various surgical procedures in which they have used THRIVE, and it was a tubeless apneic anesthesia, and they have found that THRIVE will be a useful tool, a game changer actually. And the last study, which is coming in the IJA December issues, when we are talking about the modeling, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and we have been using into our clinical practice also. So this study, wherein the database regression models for predicting remifentanil pharmacokinetics in various patient clinical scenarios based on data collected from various other sources. And this model probably not only highlights that how we can use this modeling for benefit of our patients, though they have used remifentanil here, but I think similar model, this study will give an impetus to various researchers working in this field to look for various modeling for various other drugs that we use in different clinical practice. And it is added on with certain case reports, a commentary on trial sequential analysis. In previous podcast, we mentioned about the utility of trial sequential analysis in systematic review and meta-analysis. So we have tried to analyze various published articles and the importance of TSA, a good commentary, and definitely it is supplemented by various letter to editors, brief, concise, to the point, but interesting carry-on messages. I'm sure that this compendium of IJA December 2024, last of the 2024 issues, will be really useful. My best wishes to you all, and I hope that with this issue, your patient's improvement, quality of recovery becomes much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh. It's been a wonderful year, a wonderful journey this entire year doing the podcast, and we had some wonderful issues. And this is a new initiative wherein we can bring the entire journal, the main articles, to all our listeners and viewers in 5 to 10 minutes. Thanks a lot for taking your time and sharing what's coming up in the December issue. Wishing you a very good year going ahead, and I'm sure we have something special coming up in January, which you have never disclosed to me. So let's hope that that's going to be something very interesting. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you for listening. We'll be back with you with authors' views and editors' insights episodes this month on the articles that have been featured. Thank you.